I still hear the sharp click of the zipper when I think back to that morning at the airport. One loud gasp behind us, a finger pointed at my dad's bag, and a stranger's voice sliced into the hum of the terminal. That shouldn't be allowed on a plane. I had no idea that one sentence would change how TSA treated our family forever. We weren't late. We weren't rushing. Everything felt unremarkable as we walked into the terminal, one of those painfully ordinary travel mornings where everyone looks tired but is pretending not to be. My dad moved slowly, as he always does, one hand on his carry-on and the other steadying himself. Inside that bag was his tracheostomy kit, clean, sealed, essential, life-sustaining. We'd flown with it countless times without incident. Then she appeared. No HOA badge, no official title, but she carried the same posture, the same stance, the same permanent aura of moral authority. Late 50s crisp jacket, lips pressed tight like she'd been waiting all day to catch someone in the act of wrongdoing. She hovered behind us in line, close enough that her perfume hit before her voice. Leaning forward, she said, loud enough for 3 TSA lanes to hear, "Is that medical equipment?" I nodded automatically, already annoyed. "Yes, it's my dad's." She ignored me. Leaning past, she stared at him, not at his face, but at the bag, as if it personally insulted her. "I don't think you're allowed to bring things like that through," she said. "Looks dangerous." My dad froze first. Not fear, not embarrassment, just tense, rigid shoulders, like a kid caught doing something wrong in class. I stepped between them and said calmly but firmly, "It's a tracheostomy kit. TSA approved. We've flown dozens of times." She scoffed, actually scoffed. "People say things are medical all the time. I'm going to flag it anyway," she thought. Before I could respond, she waved down a TSA officer, pointed at the bag, whispered something, and crossed her arms. Mini twist number 1. The officer didn't look at us like criminals. He looked tired. Then his gaze fell to my dad's neck, the trach tube visible, unmistakable. "What seems to be the issue?" he asked. She launched into it. "That bag has equipment that could be used as a weapon. Tubes, metal, fluids. He shouldn't be allowed. He needs it to breathe." The officer cut in gently. Her face tightened. Well, how was I supposed to know that? That's when another officer arrived, followed by a supervisor. Suddenly, the line wasn't moving around us. We were the line. Phones came out. Passengers stared. My dad's hand shook. I felt that rush of rage that makes your ears ring. I said louder than I intended, "He survived throat cancer. That kit keeps him alive. You don't get to report his lungs." She snapped back immediately. "If he's that fragile, maybe he shouldn't be flying." That sentence landed like a slap. Mini twist number 2. The supervisor turned fully toward her. "Ma'am, step aside." She blinked. "Excuse me?" The supervisor repeated, firm, "We need you to step aside." Her confidence wobbled for the first time. Meanwhile, another officer knelt at eye level next to my dad, speaking softly. Did he need water? Want to sit? Prefer a private screening area? I watched the power dynamic flip, in real time. His bag wasn't ripped open, not swabbed aggressively. It was treated like what it was, vital medical equipment. One officer even said quietly, "I'm sorry you had to go through that. That shouldn't have happened." Behind us, Karen's voice grew shrill. "I don't consent to being searched like this." Mini twist number 3. She was now being fully screened. Shoes off, bag emptied. Pockets checked twice, carry-on open inch by inch. Every glance, she shot our way, accused us of theft. The supervisor returned to us and handed my dad a small laminated card. "Show this at the checkpoint next time. You won't need to explain yourself again." I looked down. Medical pre-check. Lifetime, no expiration. My dad's eyes glistened. He didn't cry, but his voice cracked when he whispered, "Thank you." As we gathered our things, the supervisor added quietly, "What she did was not okay. False reports are taken very seriously." I glanced back. Karen stood barefoot on the cold floor, arms flailing, jaw clenched, watching officers go through every item she owned. For the first time since the cancer, since surgeries, since all the stares. My dad walked forward without apologizing, just breathing, just moving. We thought it was over once we cleared security. That was our mistake. Rolling toward the gate, I felt that prickle of unease, the kind that says someone is still watching. My dad clutched his pre-check card, like it might vanish if he loosened his grip. I scanned the crowd, expecting her to disappear into the chaos. She didn't. She reappeared near the boarding area, shoes back on, face flushed, eyes locked on us like we'd stolen something. Marching to the counter, she slammed her boarding pass down harder than necessary. "I need to report those people," she said, pointing directly at us. No hesitation. No shame. The gate agent didn't even glance at us. Checked the screen. Then at Karen. Then back at the screen. "Ma'am, TSA already cleared them multiple times." "That doesn't mean it's right." Karen shot back, voice raised, drawing attention. "My husband is a veteran. I know security." My dad stopped, ready, finally, to face the ridiculous storm she was creating. As we kept walking, I noticed his shoulders tighten again, the same reflex I'd seen 1,000 times. Make yourself smaller. Don't make trouble. Apologize just for existing. That was the moment something in me snapped. I spun around. "You reported my dad for carrying the equipment that keeps him alive. What exactly do you want now?" She recoiled, as if I'd insulted her personally. "Don't speak to me like that. I'm protecting everyone here." "From what?" I wanted to scream. "From a man who can barely breathe without help?" She leaned closer, her voice low and venomous, like a conspiracy she'd rehearsed. "People fake illnesses all the time. I saw a story about it." Mini twist. A man standing nearby stood up. "Lady, I saw the whole thing. You were out of line." Another voice chimed in. "My sister has a trach. You don't get to decide who deserves to travel." Karen spun, scanning for support, finding none. Her face stiffened. "Fine. If no one will take this seriously, I'll escalate it." She pulled out her phone, filming us. That's when airport police arrived. Not for us, for her. "Ma'am, we've received multiple complaints of harassment." Her mouth dropped open. "Harassment? I'm the one being targeted." The officer looked at my dad, then at the medical tag on his bag. "No, ma'am. You've repeatedly confronted passengers after being told to stop." She tried to laugh. "This is ridiculous. I want your supervisor." Mini twist. He nodded. Already called. While we waited, my dad finally spoke, quiet but steady. "Please just leave us alone." For a brief second, something flickered in her eyes. Guilt? Calculation? Then it vanished. "If you didn't want attention," she said coldly, "you shouldn't travel with all that equipment." The supervisor arrived, watched the video Karen had been recording, capturing her cruel commentary, and turned to her. "Ma'am, you are being documented for repeated false reporting and passenger interference." She scoffed. "Documented for carrying?" "For harassment," he corrected. She froze, stunned, like the rules had shifted without her knowledge. Then came the announcement that sealed it. "Ma'am, due to your behavior, you'll be boarding last after a secondary review." Her face went pale. "That's not fair." Neither was accusing a man of being a threat. Simply for needing help to breathe. We boarded early, quietly, respectfully. I stole one last glance at her, seated to the side, arms crossed, furious and alone. I thought that was the end. I was wrong. We didn't know the real reason until months later. At the time, all we noticed was that everything changed after that flight. Every airport afterward felt different. TSA waved us through with a nod. Supervisors checked in quietly. Once, an officer walked with us to the gate to make sure my dad was okay. No questions, no suspicion, no explanations needed. But the real twist came in the mail about 6 months later. A thick envelope arrived at my parents' house. No return address we recognized. Inside were formal-looking documents and a letter that began, "We are writing regarding an incident reported at an airport security checkpoint." My dad's hands shook as he read it. Mine did too. Karen had filed a formal complaint after the flight. Not just with TSA, but with the airline the Airport Authority, and a federal passenger safety board. She claimed my dad endangered travelers, that TSA failed in their duty, and that she had been retaliated against for speaking up. She didn't stop there. She attached screenshots, statements, and one thing she never expected anyone to see: her reason. Buried in the complaint was a paragraph explaining why she was so fixated on medical equipment. Years ago, her brother had died, not from an accident, not from an attack, but from refusing medical care. He had a tracheostomy after surgery. He hated it, said it made him weak, embarrassed, stared at. One day, he didn't carry his emergency kit, and he didn't survive. Instead of grief, she chose blame. She blamed the equipment, its visibility, the inconvenience, the reminder that bodies fail. And when she saw my dad alive, traveling confidently with his life-saving kit, it cracked something inside her that she had never faced. The letter explained everything. Why TSA didn't dismiss her complaint, why they reviewed every second of footage, why they investigated fully. At the end, they added a permanent note on my dad's file, not just clearing him, but formally recognizing him as a protected medical traveler. Lifetime medical pre-check wasn't a reward, it was a statement. What Karen did crossed a line, so clearly it changed protocol. The letter concluded, due to the severity of the false reports, the reporting party would now be on a behavioral monitoring list and subject to enhanced screening for all future flights. Enhanced screening every time. The irony hit me like a punch. She spent her life policing others, and guaranteed she would never pass quietly through a public space again. I asked my dad how he felt after reading it all. He was quiet for a long moment, then said simply, "I wish she had talked to me instead of pointing at me." No anger, no victory lap, just sadness for her and relief for himself. The real payoff wasn't seeing Karen get searched. It was seeing my dad stop shrinking. Now, when we travel, he doesn't rush through security. He doesn't hide the bag. He doesn't apologize. If someone stares, he meets their eyes. That day taught him something no cancer survival lesson ever had. Needing help doesn't make you a threat. And sometimes, the people who shout the loudest about safety are running from their own ghosts.